Hello guys, hope you're all okay tonight. I keep saying just another quick video, but they always end up being 15-20 minutes long. So I'm just about to do some scenery, so I thought I'd film it and show you the techniques I've been using lately. And as I mentioned in previous videos, if it's not my idea, I don't claim them. So the trees that I'll be using are these that you see in one of my other videos that I showed. And it was Warvision Gaming 40k that told me to go to garden centres and such to get these, which I did and got a vast amount of. I'll be using cork boards. Now, I started cutting the edges of the boards to try and take the sort of round edge off, and it was such hard work. And what I'd said in the previous videos was, you want your stuff on the table, so I just ended up, I'm not even going to bother. So I've got 3 of these guys, and I'm going to make 3 separate terrain features using these and other bits and bobs, and they're just going to be like that. They're not going to be cut or shaped or anything like that. So cork, trees of various sizes, small ones as well, which as I say you can get from garden centres and the such. Flock, which is the same flock I use for my bases. It has the little flower things in, and hard to see because it's a white bottom, but on there is a 50-50 mix of PVA and water, which I've stirred in using the brush. Now again, that wasn't my idea. I got that from Luke's ABS. He suggested using a spray gun, which I tried and it just didn't work for me. So all I do is, I'll show you exactly what I do anyway. So first things you need to do is I'm going to do the trees. I'm going to do the trees and I'm going to set them to the side so that there's enough time for the PVA to dry, and basically set the flock in. And all I'm doing there is to just make these look a bit more realistic. Again, it was Luke's ABS who suggested this. Most of you follow his channel, or probably all he is. You know how he's good he is for scenery. I just want the basics. I just want stuff that's good enough to go on the board, and just be able to use it for terrain, whether it's wargaming, role playing. It doesn't have to be a showcase piece. It's just so you can play with it. So what I do first of all, so like I say, Luke suggests spraying it. All I'm doing, cheap and cheerful, getting the tree, and I'm just rolling it in the PVA until it's got a nice consistency. And what I don't want to do is, I don't want it to all be covered anyway, because I want some of the white to come through, because I'm trying to make it like for a snowy effect, like northern, the north type scenario. So I want that snow to come through on the branches a little bit. I've got normal trees as well for when I do non-snowy type trees. So I'll just keep rolling it until I think I've got a decent amount on. Just tap that off there. And then, like I say, flock there, just going to spread it out a bit and it doesn't really matter how you do this. You can sort of dab it in, roll it in, or you can pick it up and sprinkle it on. It really doesn't matter. If there's areas that aren't really particularly touched, just get your brush, get it on the PVA, brush it in like the underside here, get some of the flock, just sprinkle it over the top of your tray or whatever you're using. You might be using a Tupperware jar, whatever it is, and it just saves. I mean, my modelling area now is a disgrace, which most modellers, when you're in the middle of things, let's face it, most of our stuff's like that. But yeah, it just saves bit of saves your head a bit when your missus isn't very happy with you, or vice versa, and it also just saves you having to clean it all up, doesn't it? So there's one, dull down a bit. I've probably went a bit too much there, to be honest. I'll see if I can. Yeah, some of that's coming off now. I'm just tapping the bottom. Just use my finger as well, doesn't matter. Yeah, that's loads better now. It's going all over the place, so I'll be sweeping this up afterwards. So there you go, bit of the white coming through. That's that one done. And what I'm going to do, where it's all at the bottom like that, scraggly, I'll just cut that off. Now another thing as well with these, you see the undersides there where you can see the wire. Because I'm not particularly bothered, I just want loads of these down. I'll just end up painting that brown. I'm not going to put any sort of green stuff on it or anything like that. I'll just paint it so it blends in a bit. So there's one done. Put that there. And I'm basically just going to do the same again. I'll show you with a bush. This little bush is the last one, and then you don't need to see me doing them all. So the same one with the bush, just dabbing it in, get the bottom. And then same thing again. Okay, there you go, just hold this down a bit. I'll probably wait till that dries a little bit and knock a little bit of the flock off the top of it a bit. But if you put that there, so already if I do something like that with the slate as well, and you can sort of see where it's going to come together a bit, put a bit of loose branch or something, or I might use a smaller tree, have a smaller tree in a bush, but something like that. So the next step is I'm going to use no more nails. I'm going to cover this completely in no more nails, and then what I'll do is when the tree's dried, or even actually before it's dried, I'll plonk it in the no more nails, and I'll plonk all my pieces I'm putting in, so like little chippings of wood which we've got here, so just bits of wood, just snap it off, a couple of pieces, got some more slate there, and then like what I'll do is I'll use the army painter bushes and things like that at the end, at the very end. But because it's winter, when you're creating it as well, think about your terrain. But they're obviously like a spring, summer type bush. So for me, I'll be using something a bit more like that, and it'll be getting some snow in it as well. So basically, show you the next step, guys. Normal quid, power bonds, PVA glue, no more nails, and I'm basically just going to whack it on. So, get me spreader. It's the worst thing about unorganised desk, keeping a track of all your stuff. It is. So I've got about that on at the minute, but we'll see how that spreads out. And what I do as well, and as I have to say this every video, guys, because there's so many good talented people out there. All of my videos are aimed at people who either have never done it before or haven't got confidence. I don't have a great deal of confidence, or you know, just want a bit more practice. It's not for you seasoned guys out there who've done all this before. You already know what you're doing. You don't need me to tell you. So the way I do it, I try and make it so it's like a rough finish, and then that way it looks a bit more like snow, really. That's sort of settling on the ground. And what I find as well is where you know you're going to place your trees and your rocks, you want a bigger build up of no more nails, so it really grips it. So like around the edges it can be thinner, really, because you're just going to paint over that. And in the centre you want it a bit thicker where you're going to put your trees. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is stick a rock down. So got all the stuff on. So what I mean about being rough. I'll put the tree down before I put the rock down, because I want to make sure the tree's the centrepiece. But I'm going to put it off centre, sorry, so I can get the rock and everything on. So the tree will go off centre there, and then all I'll do is just make sure it's definitely bonded out, because where the tree sits as well, I want to cover up the join between the tree and the base. So just get the no more nails on that as well. So that's pretty much that done there. So then get a rock, bit of slate, bit of stone, whatever, bang that on. There's a rock on as well, and then stick a couple of pieces of branches on as well. And dark artisan again, Harry, he does great ones like this. So there it is at the minute. So I've got to leave that to set for about 24 hours. And what I'm going to do, just to finish off as well, is I will just sprinkle the odd bit of rock down, fine rock down. I'll do that over another part of me terrain area, so I'm gonna make a mess, and that'll just give it some texture as well for when I paint over it. Yep, so I'll just be using something like Dulux once, just one of the sample pots, banging it all on, rough and ready. Doesn't matter if it goes over the edges of the slate, because I'll be finishing like cleaning it up with Valhalla Blizzard, some dry brushing and stuff like that as well. But you'll see all that once that's had time to dry. So I'll see you in the next section of this video. See you in a bit, guys. Bye bye. Hello guys, welcome back. So what I did last night, obviously just a quick recap, got the bases done and the no more nails is hardened on him. So what I've got to do next is get some paint onto it. So as I said, I'll give it a quick shake first. As I said, just a simple Dulux thing, or you know, just a paint sample. It doesn't have to be blooming Dulux. So get that on, get that open, sorry, and it's as I said in the last video, or the last segment, it's just a case, I don't even know why I'm taking it off the brush, it's just a case of slapping it all on, absolutely banging it on, no airs and graces. If I get little bits on the rock, it's not going to matter, because I'm going to be putting the I'm either going to be going over the rock again with a bit of grey or whatever, just to touch it up, or I'm going to be filling it with the Valhalla Blizzard. So what I did last night was I painted 2 up just to let it harden, so that once I've painted this on to show you how roughly you can get it on, we'll move on to the other stuff and we'll show you just bringing them up to the final finishes. So I'll just give you an example of what I mean. So I'm just slapping this on, and I find with like this is almond white, but I find eggshell as well, because it's not pure brilliant white. It just has a bit more, because if you look at snow when it first lays, yeah, but over time it can get things like just bits of dirt from animal tracks, or just if leaves have got mixed in with them, or like, you know, pine leaves or bits of rock or whatever, and because you've got a lot of build up of stuff on your base, you know, there will be some natural sort of muckiness comes to the snow. So that's why I don't do like a pure brilliant white on these. Plus it gives you something to harden it up to as well if you want to dry brush it. So I've got a little bit on the tree there, look, there's a little bit on the tree, but it doesn't matter. Bit on the rock, again, does not matter whatsoever. Now, these are the bigger surfaces that I'm covering. Just getting it stuck in. I'm trying to avoid, the one thing I do try and avoid is the leaves. Try and avoid the leaves on the trees, but obviously this is a fallen tree. Normally the leaves would be, the tree would be stood up, wouldn't be an issue. Right. And then just some places will be a little finicky, like, you know, getting behind rocks and things like that. But again, if you do touch them, as I said, you can just go over it with the Valhalla Blizzard. And then when there is some places that are a bit finicky, just swap out your brushes for a smaller brush. You still don't want a minute brush, because as I say, it's not a painstaking process like painting miniatures, and you just want these banged out as fast as you can. And you know, for anyone who's watched any of my videos, I do talk quite a lot about how slow I am at painting, and for me personally, this can be part of the process of putting you off the hobby. So anything you can do to stop you from moving away from the hobby. You know, a lot of people don't like assembling and that part of it. I certainly don't. I don't mind the painting the miniature side, but I can't stand the assembling and part. So, or creating the scenery, to be honest. I don't mind painting the scenery, but the creation side of it, I'm not that keen on, to be honest. So, there's that one there. And what did that take? A couple of minutes. There's the paint down on that there. So, I've got another one to do, which is even finickier. So I'll get that painted up, show you the results with the paint on of that one, and then we'll move on to the next two. So 1 second, guys. Okay guys, so that's the second one done there. See where I've said about roughing the no more nails up, so that you can, it just looks a bit more like snow rather than just flat, no more nails really. So that's them two done. Okay, so these two I did last night, so obviously the paint's all dried on them too. Right, that's what I did last night. So if we look there, you can see that the paint has come over onto the tree and such, and there's blotches on it on the rocks as well. Same with the other one. So I've got two things to do. First of all, I want to get some tufts down. Right. So I'm going to use a couple of the bigger tufts here, because I find with the bigger tufts, especially on some of the models, there's no space on the actual model itself for the larger tufts. So these are good ways to get them down. And what I'm going to do as well is I'll actually glue them down. Okay, so you've just got your tufts on. It just adds a bit more to it. Just little minor details. And then before I put the snow on, what I'm going to do is, as I said on these, you'll get some little under stuff coming down. Just clip them off, pull them away, just to neaten it up a little bit. Not all of it, because you want it to look, it's just the stuff that looks unnatural, that looks like it shouldn't be there. But some of it you want it to hang down, because, you know, these trees obviously haven't been pruned, have they? So, you know. Okay, so there you go. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the Valhalla Blizzard, the crafting knife or whatever. And obviously doing all of this just totally muckies up your workspace. But as I say, as lovely as it is to have a clean workspace, that's not the reality of the hobby, is it? It's nice to do it once in a while, but most times our hobby areas are pitted in flock and glue spots and all sorts of stuff on them. So just getting this on. And I mean, the Valhalla Snow is superb, but it is expensive for the bottle you get. So I don't try and put too much on. I want some over the leaves, over the bushes I've just put down, because you're obviously doing a snow effect. And guys, I know I keep saying it, but this is something I have to do in my videos. This isn't for you guys who know what you're doing out there. This is for people who just want to jump into it. So, as I always say, I'm not teaching you to suck eggs. Put some over the log. There's a log there, so I'm going to stick some on that. There's a rock there, got a bit of, where is it? Bit of paint on it there, so I'll get the snow on that as well. And where there's like little crevices in the rock, just where you would get snow drifts into it and things like that, and you know, undersides of trees and that was what I was saying in the other section of this as well, about thinking of your scenery, thinking of what would actually happen. You know, you do get snow drifts. You wouldn't normally get a big build up under trees, because the foliage would stop that, but it's just to mask the actual base of the tree a little bit. It's quite hard to do on these bases. In an ideal world, you would take it off its base and you would just drill it into the cork. And if you want to do that, it'll look even better. But this isn't about making the best terrain feature in the world. This is about just being able to get some stuff on the table, get some scenery on, so you're not spending half your time worrying about it. You just, you can see, I'll show you that way, guys. And putting that on there and just banging it under, because you would get snowdrifts under the rock, and it just obscures things a little bit, just breaks up the ground, breaks up the paint a little bit. As I say though, if you're putting too much on, this can really hammer your Valhalla blizzard supply, so try and be as sparing as you can with it. I know the likes of Luke's APS and people like that have got ways, things of how to make the same thing, and I mean, you could always just mix sand in with your, which I have sanded some of these, 2 of them I did. You can always mix flock in with it and things like that, but again, this is all time, guys, this is all time, and I find just doing it this way, even if it's a little bit more costly, it's better than going out and spending 50 quid on a scenery piece, you know what I mean? This has cost a couple of quid. I would say this all in, it's cost about a £5, not even that for that. So yeah, I hope that helps, guys. I'll take a few screens at the end of these on the table. These unfortunately going to have to, they're still drying, so I might have to leave them for tonight. But yeah, quick and simple, get the job done. So I hope that helps, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video. Take care, and I'll see you later. Bye bye.